ASM 800 has 35 variant covers. The question is, how many did I buy? Stay tuned to this video to find out. Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. I am going to show you guys all of the copies of ASM 800 that I purchased, and there are a fair number of them, so bear with me. The first is the standard cover, which is, I believe, by Alex Ross. I actually picked up 3 copies of this. It is a gorgeous copy, and if you have not seen this book, it is a massive book. It is 80 pages, and they are hefty. So I actually have 3 copies of the regular cover. Have not read it, but I'm definitely looking forward to reading it. Here is a homage cover that I picked up. I can't remember which Amazing Spider-Man this pays homage to, but I believe in the original this is actually the Green Goblin instead of Red Goblin, and of course Peter Parker is playing himself, but a gorgeous copy. This one unfortunately was damaged. It was the only copy that the shop had, so I went ahead and snagged it anyway. I'm probably going to read this one, but I am going to pick up another copy of this one somewhere else. As again, my shop didn't actually have any. Here is another variant. This one's really cool. I just like whoever drew this one, how they kind of drew Peter Parker. It's pretty slick. He's a lot thicker, a lot more muscular than he normally is. So I think they did a pretty good job with that one. Here's one featuring all of the women in Peter Parker's life. There's Aunt May, there's the Black Cat, there's Gwen Stacy, and of course Mary Jane. This is a really cool cover. So I actually picked up 2 copies of that one. This one is actually by Cho. I've been following Cho on Instagram, and kind of like some of his work, but he did a really good job on this particular cover. So one of the things I'm actually disappointed in Marvel for doing was that they probably should have bound ASM 800 very differently than they did. 80 pages with a regular comic book binding just doesn't work, and a lot of the books have some spine issues with like some ticks at the top and the bottom of the book. And I went through 3 different comic book shops, and every single book had the exact same damage done to it. And I think it's just part of the production process with 80 pages. They should have probably done a square bound or some other kind of binding for these books. All right, here's another one. Can't remember who did this one, but it's a pretty slick cover. That one's pretty cool with Spider-Man in the black costume there. So I actually picked up 2 copies of that. Have not yet, again, read this book, but definitely looking forward to taking a look at it. Here's another. Spider-Man in his standard uniform, and the Red Goblin there on his glider. Here's another. This one I think is really cool. It's done by Mark Bagley, and you guys know that I'm a Mark Bagley fan. I really like how he draws Spider-Man. He just did a really good job with this one. So I may pick up an additional copy of this one just because I'm such a fan of Mark Bagley. But that one, the colors are just wonderful. Here is a Moebius cover. Sorry. But there's something just dark and brooding about this particular cover. And I think that Moebius is no longer with us, so I'm not quite sure where they were able to get the artwork, but it's a really nice cover. I also snagged 2 blank covers. You guys know that I'm not a huge fan of these things. I think I own maybe 2 or 3 total already, but I picked up another one of these, and my hope is that I may actually get someone to draw me a sketch on them again, because ASM 800 is such a big book. Why not do that? Here's another. This one, Frenz, I think is how you say his name. But just this is one of just some of the guys. Well, it's technically Norman in his Green Goblin uniform. It's a pretty nice one. I think I might have shown this one already. Can't remember. I'll have to look back. But here's another. Just kind of Peter Parker swinging by someone's window. Who did that one? Dodson. Here's another. It's kind of cool. This is a land cover. And I actually picked up 2 copies of this one. I thought this was really cool because it really showcases all of the various characters in Peter Parker's life. And you guys know he has a huge cast of people around him, not just villains, but also just, just people in his life. So you've got Kraven the Hunter, you've got Venom, you got the Green Goblin, the Shocker over there, Black Cat, Wilson Fisk. I mean, it's just a Rhino. It's just a really, really well done cover. So again, I picked up 2 copies of that because I thought it was a really, really cool one. And then the big one that I picked up for about 2 months before ASM 800 even came out, there was the Dell'Otto, I think it's Dell'Otto cover that they were talking about online. And it was selling, I think, for like $100. And I refused to pay the money for it. I was going through this phase, and kind of still am, where I'm like, I'm not picking up any variants despite the fact that I bought all these. But I looked at the cover and I just thought it was a really, really gorgeous cover, but I did not buy it. But I did get this version, which is essentially the same thing. It's just not a virgin variant. But this is by Delgado or Dell'Otto, I can't remember. But a really, really just nice cover. You got the old school webbing there under his arm. It's just a really well done cover. I actually picked up 2 copies of it because I thought it was so cool. So not really sure how many there were. I should probably count up the different variants and then the total books, but super pumped about this. This is a big, big issue in my opinion for a Spider-Man fan. And I've been reading all of these issues kind of leading up to this with the Red Goblin. I think it started back in 793, 794. I've been reading it all the way through. It is a wonderful, wonderful story arc that comes together in these 80 pages. So definitely looking forward to reading this thing. But I think that's it. So thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and go out and grab your own copy of ASM 800. Take care.